Hey, welcome to another episode of Geek Bros Talk. It's been a few weeks, but we're coming at you in a live format. Um,
Yeah,
real-time streaming.
Now it's for
real-time
real.
streaming. Yeah.
Yeah, technology is wonderful, isn't it? Anyways, we're gonna test our video stuff, audio stuff real quick, just to make sure we're good to go before we start.
Okay.
So,
I can see
my
myself.
man,
Ooh, it's real.
my man Commodore 64, we looking good. Everything all good in the control center.
Maybe. Are they?
Are they?
Yeah. Well, it looks good
Okay.
on here, but it looks
All
good
right.
to me.
Yeah, sure. Anyways, this is an experimental iteration. So hopefully everything goes well. And if you see any issues, whatever, just let us know in the live chat. Now you guys can interact with us. Pretty neat. Pretty. I mean, I guess you guys interacted with us before.
Here we go.
Okay.
Anyways, so we have a lot of cool stuff to talk to you about today. I mean, I know it's been a couple weeks since we've done one of these videos, but just a lot of hot stuff regarding technology, regarding the geek stuff. We have a lot of good content to talk about.
Oh.
So
I'm sorry. Oh.
yeah,
Sorry, I had it as unlisted. It wasn't even public.
damn
Damn
it.
it. Okay.
All
I
right,
just
third
stopped
time's a
it.
charm.
Okay, I
But-
just
Third
stopped
time's
it.
a charm.
I just stopped it. Oh man, sorry y'all. What the?
Hey, wait. So whenever we start this, it'll pop up in the YouTube channel.
Well, I had it as unlisted instead of public. It should be public.
Okay.
So let me stop the stream. You know the weird thing is, like sometimes it doesn't stop the stream. That's the weird thing. Let me see. Yeah, it didn't stop it. Give me a second. How do I stop the stream? Control cap lock to stop the stream. Jesus, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, control cap. It's starting to stream and now it's live on YouTube. Okay, go ahead.
Oh,
No takebacks.
hey, welcome to another special live episode of Geek Bros Talk. It's been a few weeks since we've done this, but we're coming at you in real time thanks to the internet. It's a very magical thing if you haven't noticed. Anyways, we have a lot of great content for you guys since we haven't, done one of these videos in a couple weeks. Plus, there's just a ton of cool stuff happening right now all over the place. So we have a lot of just cool stuff to talk to you about.
It's a
So
magical time of the year.
yes, summer. Kids are out of school, maybe. Anyway, I don't know if that's to do with anything. But so we're gonna go ahead and get started with basically a tour of my temporary home office setup. I mean, it's kind of like a little geeky thing that I like to indulge in. It's just setting up my workspace, and maybe a lot of you guys out there also like to indulge in that as well. Yeah, but basically my roommate moved out, so I just kind of took his bedroom and turned it into a nice, cool office. Plus, I just got a new Ryzen 1700 processor,
Yeah.
so that's some pretty cool stuff. So we can do a little tour, walk around, and right after that, we'll get into some awesome AMD versus Intel. As we like to talk about a lot. AMD is coming hot with the HEDT segment, which is the high-end desktop segment. They had a massive new CPU called Threadripper coming out, and Intel recently announced their new X299 series. After that, we're going to get into a little bit of cryptocurrency, which is basically a decentralized currency for all of us. And then after that, we're just getting to our normal geek banter, what we've been up to, what games we played,
The usual
So-
ranting and raving.
yeah, just geeking out, just chilling with the bros. Anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and start this tour. It's gonna kick me for a second, but then I should reconnect pretty shortly because I need to switch my camera from the front camera to the rear camera. So give me 1 second.
Okay. And so D-box cutter, is it? Wait.
Oh, I forgot to introduce ourselves. Yeah, before I do this,
For those of you who don't know all of us,
yeah, and I hope you should by now. Pretty famous, not really, but anyways, I'm your host. Possibilities, pasta, and it's like linguine and paschetti and all that good stuff. So that's possibilities. This is I don't know which video position you guys are in, but that's my co-host. Maybe I don't know. That's my co-host. Why did you introduce yourself, Mr. C64?
C64, Commodore 64 for life.
That is Mr. Geek Outdoors himself. That is the living incarnation of Geek Outdoors, literally. And then we have our other co-hosts. I don't know which direction he's in, but
This one.
maybe.
Yo. This is Danny Box Cutter, or just D-Box for you guys out there.
The box, cutting boxes, box cuts. I don't know. Anyways, so
Not
now that
really
we,
Hungry Box.
yeah, not nearly as good as Hungry Box. Anyways, yeah, so we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna try to get this little mini tour of the room started. So give me 1 second on that.
Let's see what it looks like.
Hey, so D-Box, is the sound okay on your end?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything's coming through nice and clear.
Cool.
Whatever happens, I mean, no take backs at this point.
So, while our other brother is getting things connected, how did you come up with the name D-Box Cutter?
Well, I mean, it was Danny Box Cutter. It's the same name I've been using since like high school as my punk persona.
I got you.
If I remember correctly, I remember Pasta also had his own, and he was Johnny Urine.
Johnny, you're right.
Hey guys, that's a long time ago. Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Oh, we can see you too. We see.
Oh, so this is the backside of my Surface Pro 4. Anyway, so this is a little man. I feel like I'm gonna get some weird angles with this, but this is a little mini tour of my temporary office. So starting from the position I'm sitting in is my little workspace for anyone who wants to come over and do a little bit of co-working. You know, just want to come out here and just kind of jam with some programs. You know what I'm saying?
You'd be saying he's lonely.
Oh, Anyway, so we have this little section right here. It's just I have my Surface Pro set up here. You could always bring your own laptop, desktop, what have you. We have a monitor set up for you. You got the dual mount, but only one monitor because we ain't got that money out here.
Oh.
All right. Anyways, so there's that. I'm gonna walk over here to the main corner. As you can see, this is my setup. Got the dual ultra wides there. Got my desktop. I also have a little server running right here just to mess around with. And then got a little, basically control center display up here for my cryptocurrency mining that I just started getting into. It's pretty cool. Anyways, yeah, I got my work laptop. Pretty nice monitors. I mean, you need to get an audio setup if you like listening to music at long periods of time. This was fairly affordable. Got my SteelSeries MLG Sensei mouse I got as a gift a couple years back. Got my mechanical keyboard. That's a 75% with cherry brown switches. I'm sorry, Gator browns. Again, the two ultra wides. And then really the main thing that, if you guys can see it, I wanted to show you. Get it in here. Maybe I can show you the mirror side. This is the inside of my
That's so sweet.
I got the new, let's see if I get this out of the way. Oh, no.
Don't drop it.
Got the new Ryzen. I don't know if you can see in there, but the mobile says Ryzen on there. Got the 1700 chip in there. Got my Fury X, mining me those cryptocurrencies. And got a water cooling setup as well. Got all my radiators on top. So kind of fun fact in Bart's butt. Kind of a fun fact. This case sucks for airflow. So I took the top off because I think what was happening was like hot air was getting trapped up in here, and basically the radiators weren't cooling down. If anything, it was just getting really hot, just a hot pocket of air. No trademark. But yeah, so it's just like my little setup. I got the main desktop in the computer. Got a little screen up there just to monitor some stuff. Got a little working desk for anyone who wants to come over, and I'm doing it with the podcast right now, or video live stream, whatever you kids call it nowadays. Got like a mechanical keyboard. Got my Blue Yeti. And just got like a little tablet to mess around with. So,
God, that is a
you did pretty well
factory.
And a bed if you just need to pass out. So yeah, this is a little office setup, and I hope you guys liked it. I know I haven't really done a complete desktop tour, but hopefully that's enough for you guys to know. If you have any questions, if you want to set up an office, something like that, I can definitely help guide you. I know. Well, coming back here real quick. I know it's a little messy. I'm only going to be here for a couple weeks, maybe, so I didn't bother to do cable management, but it's okay. You can't see it, so
it'll be another episode.
All right, so you guys will continue, and I'll hop back on in a second.
Yeah, so that's a possibilities lair. Whoa. So what do you think about that D-box cutter?
That's a lot more space than I have. But it looks like he's utilizing it pretty well, and I'm just hoping, that room manages to stay not melting.
I think that looks like a cross between something from the Matrix and the Wall Street Stock Exchange or something. I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
Some like scrolling ticking bars at the top.
I know. So it'd be a. Oh wait, there it is again.
Oh,
that's not a good angle.
Okay, welcome back.
And we're back.
Right. Nice tour.
What do you guys know about perspective? Where am I sitting right now? Did you be able to have photo recognition of my room now? You know, the exact layout of it.
Be on Facebook.
We've remembered everything now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please don't rob me. I need these things to live. Anyways, so yeah, that's my little mini tour. And with the whole desktop main corner part, I did want to talk about the new Ryzen chip I got. So I did get a Ryzen 1700 for a pretty good deal. The time I got it for $260, which is probably close to 50, 60 off MSRP, which is, nice. I feel like a pretty good deal.
Where'd you pick it up from?
I actually got it from eBay. So there's a sale on eBay. It's a brand new processor, but I got it shipped out of state while I was visiting back home. So I kind of avoided
taxes.
Yeah, I mean, don't tell Uncle Sam, whatever. Don't snitch. Don't rat me out. All right, I pay my taxes like an American. I'm patriotic. Anyways, yeah. So without taxes, about $260, which is an amazing deal for 8 core, 16 threads. It came with a cooler that I didn't use, so I mean, just so much value in AMD's new R7, R5, even R3 lineup. So it's been good so far. In terms of performance, yeah, 8 cores, 16 threads, like nothing is slowing it down. Games, like multitasking applications, everything. It's just like, it hasn't really broken, I feel like 5, 10, 15%. I've been monitoring my CPU usage, and it's amazing. It's amazingly good.
So, I mean, does it live up to the hype?
I think so. I mean, I haven't really been able to push it just yet because I haven't done any like hardcore rendering or stress testing it. Mm-hmm. But just in like, I mean, as a normal everyday application, you probably won't see like a whole lot of difference just because like the processors from 5, 6, 7 years ago can still keep up with just normal basic stuff. Yeah. But definitely with gaming, I feel that it's smoother. I feel like I'm getting a lot more frames where I didn't before. Mm-hmm. But just the fact that I watch the CPU usage and it's like 10%, 15%,
right?
Like that.
It stays there.
Plus, I mean, I have double the cores because my old processor was an Intel i5 3570K. Yeah, I mean, it's just once I start pushing it really hard, I'll definitely be able to see the difference. Nice. Maybe I'll try running like a few different VMs on there, start encoding some videos or something, whatever.
Just see how far you can take it.
Yeah, exactly. And I have it overclocked right now, so I think stock clock, it goes 3.7. Most R7 users should be able to get close to 3.9. And the reason why the 1700 is such a good value proposition is that it's really easy to overclock to get you to levels of 1700X, to get you to levels of 1800X.
And it's already unlocked. Already.
Exactly. So, yeah. So,
it's
I mean, obviously, go ahead.
It's kind of funny how it's the same chipset. The 7, the 8 as well. It's the same.
I mean, that's normal in a lot of processors. So what happens is this process called binning, right? Mm-hmm. So silicon, not all chips are created the same because it's kind of like nature, right? Sometimes you just have these weird variances where, chip A is not going to be exactly like chip B. So what they do is that they get these lower bin chips, which basically can't be pushed as hard at their standard, and they'll sell it for a cheaper price, right? But for the consumers, I mean, you can still push it. And for whatever reason, it's still just like a really good value proposition because I'm pushing it towards, 1700X, 1800X levels already. I mean, if you get an 1800X, you can push it even that much further. But, just going past
cost-effective solution there.
Yeah, of course, most definitely. And I have it at a very good voltage, which is like less power draw, and it should keep the chip running cooler for longer. And even temperatures, I know my case is kind of bad for airflow, but if I take all the sides off and everything, I'm sitting probably at like 30 C idle, 30 degrees Celsius idle, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
If I put everything on, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, like mine's running usually around 35 to 30.
Yeah.
I mean, even when I'm running it, like right now.
Yeah.
So that's pretty.
I mean, but you still have a beast of the chip too, so I mean.
Now, I saw you said it was water cooled, but you were also using an NZT case?
Yeah, it's an H440. It's an older case, definitely. It's aesthetically, it looks pretty good. It's very clean. But again, like I said, the airflow was not great in it. Because my processor was hitting like I think around 50 degrees Celsius, and I'm like, why is this running so hot? I'm not even doing anything. I take off the top, it drops like 15 degrees.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. Like I guess just a lot of hot air getting trapped up in there.
Get some new vent holes.
Yeah, maybe I just need to make my own. So for now, I just leave the top off, and it's fine for me. Yeah. So also when you're buying a case, you gotta think about the airflow as well. But yeah.
And so that new AMD build that you have an Asus motherboard, if I remember correctly.
No, I have an ASRock. I have the Tai Chi.
ASRock. Okay.
Yeah. I have the X370. So it's probably like the best board you can buy right now. And it wasn't cheap. I shelled out quite a pretty penny to get like the really, really high end motherboard.
That's an investment right there.
I mean, tons of overclocking options, and my RAM is running pretty fast. So I have 3600 or 3600 megahertz RAM, and right now the motherboard is reading it at 3200. So with the new update, hopefully with the new mobile update that whenever they release it, it should be able to read at 3600, which is actually like really fast. And I got that RAM at a good deal too. So.
And it's too bad that as we were talking about this, when my brother got this first in, it would have been cool. I was trying to get him to do an episode where he's actually putting it together, but the actual board itself looks sweet. I mean, it's white. It's white, right? It's white.
Yeah. The Tai Chi board is beautiful, and they have an Intel equivalent as well. But basically, it's the PCB is silk screen, so you have this really cool yin yang mechanical design on the actual PCB. And I just happened to get RAM that was white. Motherboard is white. Case is white and black. Yin and yang. Everything just matched, and it just came together. I got white LEDs in there too, so it's a great looking board.
And what did you use for the water cooling? I mean,
I have a Corsair H100, so it's an all-in-one. Basically, an all-in-one is you don't need a lot to set it up. It's just the radiator with a hose connected to the actual heatsink. Whereas if you look at a custom water cooling loop, you have tons of radiators, pipes, and you need to get that custom built. I was actually thinking about doing that, and I still might do it in the future just because it looks really cool. But it is very expensive and not super cost effective. But it should be really quiet. And the original reason why people started doing water cooling in the first place is because they wanted to make their systems more quiet.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And also,
how loud is yours right now?
It's not super loud. It's not the quietest, but it's also not the loudest. So going back to the airflow, if the airflow is crappy, you need to turn your fans up, right? And so that kind of kills the whole noise factor of it. So it's kind of hard, I guess, to find a case that has decent airflow and quiet at the same time. So for me right now, even those temperatures I was talking about, like 30 C idle, I'm running that at extremely low fan rates. Like it's pretty silent. And if anything, the CPU pump is the loudest part compared to fans.
So we saw that you had 3 different machines. You said
one
of them. So the new AMD rig is your main computing device? Desktop?
Yeah, that's my main computing device. It replaced the i5 3570K, which I haven't put anything in yet. And at the moment, it has a Fury X in there and is crypto mining stuff. And we can get a little bit into crypto mining after this, but it's my main rig for now. Once Vega comes out, I'm probably going to upgrade to Vega. It depends because I've kind of heard some shaky things about Vega or AMD. They don't seem super confident in it right now, so we'll see. But that's my main rig, and then I have a second server that I built because I was in this PC building craze for a little bit. I had all these extra parts. I'm like, well, might as well just throw it together in our desktop. So I have that server just to play around with. I have Arch Linux on that, and I just do database stuff on there, web hosting stuff. As a developer, it's my personal sandbox, essentially. And I mean,
There you go.
not only sandbox, but I can take into production if I really wanted to. So
And
it's just
it's
fun to
it's
play
kind
around
of
with.
funny. We're kind of talking about the PC build. I remember one of our earlier conversations. D-Box Cutter was also considering doing a PC build as well. So, what would you think would be a good configuration now that you have experience with the 7000 series?
It's pretty good. I mean, even the Ryzen R5 is a very good value proposition. I mean, again, the main thing with AMD versus Intel on the consumer level of desktops is that, Intel is going to have better single-threaded performance, which matters a little bit more in games right now, but Ryzen has more cores, right? So in the long run, hopefully Ryzen's a little bit more future-proof. It's also a little bit more affordable. So I see like a lot of recommendations. I mean, like, you should pick an i5 and an R5 right now, you're gonna win. They're both good, right? I like AMD just because of everything they're coming out with. I mean, I don't want to have any like corporate loyalty, right? At the end of the day, these are just businesses trying to sell me stuff. So I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm die hard AMD, I'm die hard Intel. I want to go for whatever the best value proposition is at the moment, and they're both really good right now. I'm going AMD just a little bit just so they can get more market share and kind of come back, because when we have competition, good competition between both companies, as consumers,
We all win, just the consumer,
which is what we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, which is what we're seeing right now with AMD's new chips. So that I have a FreeSync monitor, so I'm an all AMD rig right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and recommend it for now.
Sweet. And speaking of which, that's kind of led into our whole initial conversation about the brand new AMD and Intel chips.
Right. So AMD isn't stopping with their Ryzen series of CPUs. They're coming out with, they've got like a mobile SKU, they've got the server SKU. But the latest one that they just talked about is their high-end desktop segment, which is basically for people who have workstation grade machines. They do a lot of rendering, a lot of video rendering, a lot of 3D modeling, things that are very core intensive, that work that can be parallelized, which is basically encoding and rendering at this point. It's called the AMD Threadripper, and it just sounds like a beast, right? I mean, it's just that name, Threadripper. It's just, I mean, obviously ripping through those threads, but it's going to be a 16-core, 32-thread configuration, which is pretty insane considering that I think the 1800 is 8 cores, 16. It's also 8/16. Threadripper is doubling that to 16/32. And on top of that, AMD is coming out with an even higher segment for servers, which is going to be 32-core, 64-thread configuration. And on top of that, you can get a mobile that holds 2 of those CPUs in it. So you can have a computer with 64 cores and 128 threads.
What an age we live in.
That is for servers. I mean, obviously, we're probably never going to own that piece of the pie, but
I mean, it's possible now.
I mean, if you want to drop a couple 10, 20, 30 grand on that, maybe, sure. But going back to Threadripper, so we have the Ryzen, the R series, which is a consumer level desktop. We have the Threadripper, which is a high end, which is still affordable for consumers. The entry level Threadripper should come in, I think, at 850, I think. And then obviously the server level, which I haven't seen any pricing on it. Maybe I missed it, but I mean, that's a pipe dream for us. But it's out there for enterprises and large companies. And that is the EPYC, I guess it's Epic line. And then they also have their laptop line, and then I think that's it for now. But yeah, I mean, just the proposition that AMD are coming out with, before their server stuff was not really competitive, their desktop stuff wasn't competitive, their laptop stuff was somewhat competitive. At this point, maybe it's just like the Ryzen architecture itself is just killing it. I mean, they took a gamble on more cores, more threads, and I think it's starting to pay off. I mean, at the consumer level, a little bit, sure. High-end desktop, yeah. Server level, yeah. So it's kind of like scaling upwards, which is a great thing to see from AMD. Hopefully they get a lot of market share to make Intel shaking their pants, which they kind of are. So we could talk about the the X series release from Intel.
Yeah, because the AMD Threadripper, that was kind of unexpected.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, most
all,
definitely.
well, we all knew that when the Ryzen came out, and then how well received it was, and how great it performs. Intel was going to respond, and they did. When everybody heard about the new Intel Core X line, I was like, whoa. They're bringing out the big guns. And for all of you who are not aware, the Intel Core X line, it's i5, i7, and i9 series. It starts, I think, at about $800. It goes up to $2,000. And their highest end one has 18 cores and 36 threads. So all of these, as my brother alluded to, these are definitely not consumer grade chips. These are really for workstations or just people who really need
enthusiasts
a lot of power.
who have a lot of money.
Yeah, you have a lot of money, really rich enthusiasts. And so,
but yeah, again, so historically looking at the whole Intel AMD debacle within the past few years, Intel really hasn't budged, from their pricing proposition or their SKUs. I think this is the first time that we've seen Intel really start to be a little bit worried about what AMD is coming out with, because it seems like the X299 might even be a little premature, because you look at the specs between AMD and Intel. Intel always seems to edge out on the performance specs just a little bit, But in this case, you look at the comparisons. I think even between like the Threadripper or the Epic, it was one of those. I don't know, just for the price proposition, it's like almost like maybe half of that. Maybe half to like 3/4 of that, and then in terms of all the specs on the motherboard itself, like I know that the the AMD chips, they support a lot more PCIe lanes, which is also another thing. So
and also the AMD chips, as usual, unlocked.
Yes, yeah.
Unlocked. Oh, and you talk about the Intel Core X.
Yeah. So they came. I think even previously before. So I don't think there's anything new that Intel's done, but I did skim over a little bit how you had to pay to unlock features for the Intel chipset. Like if she wanted to overclock it, or she wanted to unlock multi-threaded stuff, like you had to pay for it, which is like you already bought the processor. Now you need to buy a code, which is basically just like a serial code to unlock features on your processor that you already own.
Yeah,
it's kind of bizarre.
Especially in days like this when people are like, no, they just want to take what they have and do whatever they want with it. It gives you a lot more freedom that way.
And that's kind of funny that they would do something, or they have been doing that. It's kind of like DLC now. But they've done it well. DLC.
It's hardware DLC.
Yeah,
I hate everything about that.
I know. We can all relate now.
Remember when like the first DLC that was really ridiculed was like the Elder Scrolls Oblivion horse armor, right? You can buy armor like aesthetics for your horse. And everyone was just like, "What is this? Like, why? This is the stupidest thing ever. It's never gonna take off." And now look where we are today, where DLC is a large direction for a lot of companies.
Right. It reminds me like just that paying to unlock it on something you already have. Street Fighter Cross Tekken was horrible about that. They had 8 characters already built into the release of the game that they were going to try to sell people. And I was like, dude, it's all on disc already. Why are you doing this?
Call it how you will. People vote with their wallets, right? As long as people keep buying it, keep paying for it, companies are still going to do it. And that's the sad reality, about it.
Especially when it's already there. That's the worst.
Yeah.
It's already there. It's like...
we're basically like an echo chamber right now. The people who complain about DLC complain to other people who complain about DLC. But for all those people buying it, they're like, whatever, I'll pay for this, no problem.
Right. I guess it depends on, like anything else, how much you're willing to pay for what it is and what it actually does for the game, I guess.
But, it makes sense from a business perspective, right? If people are willing to pay for it, then why not let them pay for it?
Yeah.
You may get some flack for it, but at the end of the day, like, you have more money in the bank, so
yeah, why
worth
not?
it, right?
Why not?
And I guess not everyone can be CD Projekt Red.
No, but I mean, it does make for a good argument that like there's everyone's kind of place in the industry for that, right? We have those people who are heavy on DLC. We have those like, I guess, white knights in white armor or whatever, like CD Projekt Red, who all releases, like all future updates are free, all DLCs are free, whatever. And you build your customer base, I guess, around either or, right? Or
Right.
You basically your monetary value. Like, well, if you want to gain the trust of the gamers, and you can do stuff like that. If they're more willing to buy your product again, then you make money that way. But
Yeah.
if you just want to make like a quick buck, you don't expect people to stay around that long, then do DLC, right? So.
Right, and I feel like a lot of games that have so many of those up front, they don't have like the longer base that goes through it,
Mhm.
It's like for bigger expansions and everything that actually changes mechanics or gives you like a new way to play the game.
Right.
I feel that's a little more substantial.
Yeah, again, like maybe a lot of people don't realize it, but video games is a business. It's an industry, right? I mean, you have so many different backgrounds, so many people from different places who have different ideas on how and a video game company should be ran. You have people like Sega recently. They started releasing a bunch of cool stuff on PC, right? They've been doing actually really solid PC ports, and you would never think Sega, like, what happened,
Right.
And from what I've heard, is like a lot of management just changed, changing the guards, right? Like before, it was a bunch of old Japanese dudes who ran a company, very conservative and stuck in their ways,
Very
but then,
traditional like that.
yeah, and all of a sudden you got a bunch of new, younger guys, mid-30s or whatever, hop into their seats and they're like, yeah, let's do PC, let's do this, and you're like, wow, this is like such a radical change of what Sega was a couple years ago.
Right, which has been awesome because we saw like Valkyria Chronicles get ported over to PC.
That was the first one, I think. I feel like that was one of the first ones a couple years ago. But I mean, as of late, right? We have Vanquish. We have
Bayonetta was awesome on PC.
Yeah,
I mean, now we're just waiting for Nintendo to change the guard as well. That might
right, but at the same time, you can argue that Nintendo needs those Nintendo franchises because that pays the bill, right?
Yeah,
that is like, I don't know. And again, as a business, from a business perspective, it's very interesting, right? Because if you're in the head of that position, I mean, you're kind of thinking with your heart first and your head second as a gamer, right? Because you're like, I'm a gamer. I want this. I want this. I want this. But then, from a business perspective, you need to really sit back and think, like,
to pay the team to design out and implement and get everything in there, that costs money.
But you got to think about the long-term strategy as well,
And going
I feel like,
oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, with Nintendo, the biggest instance of DLC that I can think of has been the stuff with Smash Brothers lately. But I mean, that's fine. We got brand new characters with like fleshed out move sets and everything, and it's like, yeah, I feel that was a justifiable purchase there.
Yeah, of course.
And then once again, it's like Nintendo's quality and standards, like everything that goes into it. It's like,
right. I mean, it's definitely a balancing act, a very difficult one at that.
Yep.
But I mean, you look at their recent forays into the mobile space, right? Like, they're
slowly,
the Magikarp game, Pokemon Go.
I mean, I kind of thought that after Pokemon Go, Mario Run, I'm like, all right, finally they're in the mobile space. But man, mobile's different. It's so different.
No.
It's completely different. Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised how quickly. I mean, Pokemon Go was crazy, but then when even Mario Run came out, it's Nintendo, so I was thinking, man, this is it. But that didn't last too long either, and so I feel surprised.
Yeah, it's the very short-lived nature of most mobile games. It makes sense too because you think about the mobile space and like. Mobile space has trained us to have a very short attention span because we have so much at the tip of our hands within seconds. It's got no time to sit down and play a real game,
Yeah. So, like, speaking of mobile games, what mobile game you guys have actually used or like gone back to?
Mobile game?
Yeah.
Man, you ever played Game Dev Story?
Game Dev was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was an independent game.
Yeah. So there's this simulation game series from a company called Kairosoft, and man, I was addicted to those games. It's the same formula every single game, same art style.
There's like Hot Springs, like a racing one,
a ninja one, a go-kart one, like a fighting one. I mean, say what you will about it, man, I love those games. I love them every once in a while, like maybe every year or so. But man, those are fun. I would just sit there at night and play for like 6-7 hours straight. But the difference with this is like this game was you had to pay for full price upfront. There's no DLC. It's just like a normal
Yeah, at
game.
least you get the whole game.
And there aren't any extra microtransactions that come into it.
Yeah,
It's just
so
like,
it
there you go.
wasn't really a mobile game. It was just a game that happened to be on mobile. So that's that's the distinction I make for it.
So going back, because it's kind of funny how we went into this tangent, but it's also but it's also relevant because AMD, once again, really shortly, not only they're offering better value, but they're offering more freedom, and the performance is just insane. So with the combination of both freedom, which is already unlocked, and insane performance, and now another price cut, I really think they might even do better with this super high end line, you know, because it's extremely expensive, but with that much performance, and you're getting almost half off. I mean, based upon the estimates of prices, because like I said, the Intel Core X goes all the way to 2,000, and as my brother said, it's still not fully unlocked. And so, what do you think about its chances of doing even better than the quote unquote lower end Ryzen line?
I mean, I think AMD is pretty much hitting it the nail on the head with as they scale up, right? Anywhere from high end to enterprise level. I think it was really a market that hasn't been touched in a long, long time. So it's just kind of ready to be disrupted. And with AMD's strategy, we don't have the best single core performance. Ryzen is always been about multi-core, multi-threads. And their whole shtick was more core. Basically, it's like more cores do more or whatever.
Yeah. I even think the single core performance difference was blown out.
It's good. I mean, it's competitive.
When people compare like the main hardcore Intel camp, they're like, oh, our single core performance better. But like when you look in real world, you're only getting a few frames better. I'm like, horrible experience.
Maybe like 5-10%, maybe 15. Obviously, it always depends on application or game and how well optimized it is. But it's really competitive, and you also have to take into consideration this is the first iteration of Ryzen, right? So maybe even second gen, single core is gonna be better.
And AMD has been releasing a lot of updates since their Ryzen chips came out. So.
Yeah. And to come back from the position they're in, which is a very small market share, just not necessarily bleeding out money, but at one point they were bleeding out money. They kind of patching it up at this point. But for them to really crawl back, and I want to put an emphasis on crawl back into this market and even to other markets is pretty good. Will they be top dog? We don't know, but at least what we do know is like they're competitive again.
Yep.
Whether that translates to market share, we'll have to see because we don't know yet, right? But
but I think the majority of people can agree their Radeon, their new R series, that sold well. There's no doubt about that. And then I think their Ryzen chips are selling when all the board they're doing a really good job. So if they get this one too, that's 3 for 3. That's amazing.
Yeah, hopefully. And I mean, sometimes you got to think about like just. Sometimes maybe the task or the mountain is too large to climb for AMD, right? Because I mean, Intel, NVIDIA was really like the household name for the longest time, right? Yep. They had all the market share, and even though like AMD could come out with all these products, I mean, hopefully we see the adoption rate increase. But we don't know because maybe people just, oh yeah, I know Intel, I know NVIDIA, that's what I'm gonna buy, right?
But I think the tide's changing, and for the good thing, because we talked about this before. It reminds me of the good old days, when AMD.
Yeah. I mean, for us geeks, right? For us geeks, it's good. I mean, I'm talking about just a normal, average consumer. So we'll have to see how they react to it. But definitely doing much better. I believe in them.
Yeah, I just don't know how Intel is going to respond now because that Core X that was like we're going to shut down Ryzen now, but AMD came out with this crazy. Threadripper. That's a crazy name. I love that name. Actually, I love all their names so far. So right now I'm AMD fanboying out. So it's gonna be great. So
I think part of it is because like we like the underdog story. I don't know. I mean, that's why. Not only that, but I mean, obviously for price performance, it's really good. Plus, they're the underdog. I'll go for AMD.
I'm not more of the underdog per se because AMD has proven themselves in the past. If you've been around long enough. AMD, they've been around a long time. I mean, they've been around a
Oh,
long time.
most definitely. Yeah.
So it's that history combined with the underdog and the price value. It's just great, you know. And
Right.
I'm just, I mean, I
And
have
it's
an
price
Intel
and
CPU.
performance nowadays.
Yeah, yeah. The more, the better.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, crazy stuff happening, and it's just gonna get more interesting from here. But also, we have to factor in there's a lot of other segments too that we haven't even covered. Machine learning segments. You know, there's still an arms race between basically AMD's approach and NVIDIA's approach. I mean, AMD, they like to do the more open source approach. They have their machine learning stuff, like their deep processing stuff. They use OpenCL, which is open source. Whereas NVIDIA uses CUDA, which is proprietary to NVIDIA. So when you write a program and you have NVIDIA hardware, you need to use their proprietary software libraries, which means it's hard to port over to OpenCL, or it's not even worth it. So there's a lot of different tactics and ways to approach these things, between AMD and NVIDIA. So I mean, machine learning is one area. You think about and that kind of extends into vision learning and like the Tesla stuff, right? Like the new Tesla with the new NVIDIA Titan chip in there or whatever. There's all these other segments that are just have large market caps as well that we don't even talk about, which can make consumer level stuff look like just a bug in comparison to some of that stuff. It's not as well known to the public, but it's out there, and we still see we see the consumer level. And to me, that's kind of like the battle for the brand. I mean, yes, for consumers, consumers are winning, but I don't think they're making their money off consumer. It's just more like, hey, you guys, AMD is so relevant.
Yeah,
that's where you're gonna get the most talk about AMD. It's probably in the consumer level.
And it's like that word of mouth and everything is just more buzz and good will they spread about that
good,
company.
yeah, good press. But I mean, I think the real battle is going to happen in like the enterprise level, the machine learning, all the other stuff that's not in the limelight. But that's where the real money is at.
Exactly. I mean, because as we all know, the consumer level, like you said earlier, it's great for branding. Don't get me wrong; they do make money, but the bulk of their money is made in enterprise, like servers, workstations, and then on a even larger scale, like you said. I'm glad you brought up Tesla. A lot of these chips are in there, or modified versions, or even like we talked about before, game systems. PS4, Xbox One, they have the AMD chips in there. And so and also mobile chips as well.
Right.
You remember NVIDIA was pushing their Tegra chips pretty hard a few years back in mobile.
Yeah.
And so
I mean, even now with the Nintendo Switch, I mean, it has Tegra in it. I mean, Intel, they had their phone processor, their tablet processor. So I mean, they're everywhere, right? They're spread apart, and it's just like all these little fronts for the war that is, AMD and Intel. So I mean, you may, I mean, you may win the battle, but you could lose the war, right? So there's still so much more to it than just a consumer level.
So it's really exciting. The Threadripper, I was completely surprised. The Intel X Core, I kind of expected, but wow, when I saw the AMD Threadripper come out like a few weeks right after Intel announced their Core X, I'm like, wow, that's pretty crazy. I honestly, I was thinking like it might be a year before AMD would release an answer to the Core X. That's what my guess was.
Yeah, they came out. I mean, even for the Ryzen stuff, they came out at the right time for Ryzen. Any longer, if they waited for Ryzen, I think it would have been, I don't know, just a little bit too late. But anyways, so but that's pretty much what I have to say about AMD Intel. I know we talk about them a lot, but there's always a reason to talk about them because there's always something going on in that space.
It's exciting, I think. I mean, for this past whole year, actually, it's just been going. I haven't seen them battle this hard, and even on another level, it's relevant. AMD could actually battle them now. It's been a while. So this past year,
a long time.
It's been really exciting.
Yeah, they've been in the hyperbolic time chamber. They've been training up, ready to go DBZ on their butts. Yeah. Anyways, so we can move on to our next topic now, which is going to be cryptocurrency, which still has AMD to do with it. Surprise! But it's a good segue because it's a good segue because if you try to shop for an AMD card recently, you'll notice that they're pretty much all sold out in the US. And if you look on eBay, a lot of cards have doubled in price from their retail values. So my brother, Commodore 64, we got him a RX 470, and we paid like $150 for it in December. He could sell that, and I'm kind of pushing him to do it. You can sell that for twice what we paid for. You can sell that a used card for $300. Your card has just doubled in value over the last month, and I don't know, maybe
It's
consider it.
ridiculous.
Yeah, and you could buy a more powerful NVIDIA card if you wanted to.
Okay, have to
Just
set
because
up the eBay account.
just because AMD cards are sold out, so there's no reason is selling your AMD card and buying another one. But yeah, and the reason why everything's been sold out recently is because of the rise. Oh,
Ryzen.
the second coming. No, stop that. The second coming of not second coming, but recently, crypto mining has been on the rise again. Basically, Bitcoin's up. This is other cryptocurrency called Ethereum, which has been around for a long time, but shot up 2,000% in value this year. Think about that. If you bought a couple $100 of Ethereum earlier this year and you sold it today, that's a 2,000% increase. It's insane.
It's just won the lottery.
Ridiculous.
It's anyway, so that's why AMD cards are being sold out right now, because AMD cards often have better raw compute power compared to NVIDIA. NVIDIA may have better driver implementations, which may give them the edge in games. But when you're crypto mining, all you care about is just T-flops, which is teraflops. Yeah, it just which is equates essentially to raw computing power. And that's where AMD comes out on top, because normally they always have a bigger T-flop count than NVIDIA.
And so I mean,
yeah.
before we get further, I don't think, I mean, even myself, can you explain generally what cryptocurrency is, and then why do you need server farms to run these things? What does it actually do?
Yeah. So cryptocurrency is kind of like it's a marriage between, I guess, finances and technology. It's something you could really nerd out about. But essentially, cryptocurrency is basically it's a known asset. So there's only X amount of, let's say, coins, right? So instead of dollars or whatever, they just refer to them as coins. There's only a finite amount of coins out there. And the way it works is you have to mine for these coins. So basically, everything's encrypted, and your computer has to basically guess this encryption at this time for you to be able to start retrieving that coin, right? So it is what it sounds like. It's like a technical version of mining, right? You have like this big ore, and you're just kind of mining away at it until you hopefully strike something, right? And
That's so weird. Like, I mean, that still doesn't make sense. There's like a finite amount set by whoever. We don't know. I don't even know how that's set. And then why do you have to mine it? Is it like randomly just out there in the internet and you have to look for it?
Yeah, exactly. It is what it is. It's mining. Say you have this huge field full of just money in the ground, and eventually you're gonna strike some, and you can take some, right? But what happens with that is like it's distributed evenly over time, right? So it's not all available at one time. So the longer it goes on, the more scarce it's going to get, right? Because more people are going to have it.
So
and
who chose that? I mean, that's so weird. Like, where is this coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who sets the fee?
Basically, at the end of the day, it's just bits, right? It's just data. Like someone's just like, I have all this data, and you guys can have some of this data too. You know, when you first make it, it has no value, right? Because who's going to buy this thing, right? But the thing about it, basically, like this cryptocurrency, is like it's not real money, so it doesn't get regulated the same way money does. A lot of it, sadly, goes into like the black market and shady, underhand dealings, because it's not traceable, right?
Yep, and that's why ransomware uses it.
Yeah, it's like a new wild west frontier in currency, which is pretty crazy, and it basically decentralizes currency. It's not owned by one government or one nation. It's just on the internet. It's out there for you to have, and people are willing to pay whatever for it. And you just kind of see like the economics as it progresses just happens, like why it increases in value, why it decreases in value when stores start to pick up and adopt these forms of currency, then that's when value starts to rise, right? And so
whenever it becomes more accessible and people can actually use them, I'm seeing like more Bitcoin kiosks start to pop up. It's like
exactly. Yeah, Bitcoin ATMs. So Bitcoin is the original Bitcoin, and even right now, I think one Bitcoin is like $25,000 or something like that, 2,500. It's pretty insane.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you convert this to money? Like, where would you go to convert it?
there's a lot of other cryptocurrencies out there right now, and almost like 50, 60, 70. There's a ton out there, right? And basically you want to convert that currency to Bitcoins and Bitcoins to whatever fiat. I think, is that the term?
Fiat currency. Yeah. So
Yeah, fiat currency.
dollars, euros, those fiat.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah. So like Bitcoin is it's a liaison between the fiat and the digital currency. I mean, Bitcoin itself is a digital currency, but it's been so widely adopted, it's actually worth real world money.
And so, since you said you had a server that's running a cryptocurrency,
Yeah,
how
it's
much
not
are
a
you
server,
mining?
actually. Yeah, so I'm making about $5 a day. Woo!
Woo!
Which
That's a lot of
equates
money.
Oh,
to,
man.
No, if you add it up,
150 a month,
Yeah.
maybe like 1,000 something a year, which is kind of like chump change, honestly.
Yeah, but that's more than zero.
Yeah,
Well,
but you have to
it's-
factor in. There's always a trade-off, right? You have to
Okay.
factor in electricity cost.
Okay.
If you get electricity for cheap or free, it might be worth it. The other factor is that you're putting a lot of stress on your GPU, so your GPU could break. I mean, your GPU could stop working within a couple months, which is
Wow. So
to be
why-
expected.
So why is it the GPU and not the CPU? Because all it's doing is number crunching. I don't get that.
Right. It's just like the type of computation. It's floating point values, which are what GPUs are really good at, and it's just like you can do CPU mining, but it's not nearly as efficient.
Yeah. And
GPUs are really
they're
good.
more efficient because they could run multiple processes. Whenever they're calculating things. I mean, that's the whole point of GPUs. They're made to calculate a whole bunch of little things instead of one big thing. So.
Yeah. So just like from raw compute power in general, I mean, CPU is always going to be better at like instruction-based processing, and GPU is just more like mathematical, like float points and things like that. So that's why it's better for cryptography and actually a lot of machine learning and vision stuff too. That's what GPUs are good for. But yeah, so I saw that like, oh, why is all the AMD cards on the mining's on the rise again? This thing is worth like crazy amount of money. Like, maybe I should go sell my Radeon card or whatever. I have a Fury X, and it's not the most power efficient thing. And so like the hot card right now is the RX 470 because it can it's pretty efficient in terms of what it can mine versus power draw.
And that's the card that my brother got me. I got the RX.
Yeah. So I mean, start mining or sell it. I don't know. Give it to me. I'll take it.
There's money to be made off of it, apparently.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I was looking at eBay. I'm like, well, I paid like $450 for my card early last year, and I'm like, well, I can sell it for $350, which is pretty good. It's not bad, And then just take that money and then buy Vega when it comes out, right? But then I started, really interested in like the crypto mining stuff because I haven't really done a lot of research into this. And to be fair, guys, this is all new to me. I just learned this last night.
You're slow.
But I think I have I know I'm very slow, but I have like a somewhat okay grasp on it. Anyways, I'm like, sell my card or try crypto mining. This could be fun. And basically, it's kind of like getting free baby stocks, right? Because the value of these cryptocurrencies are always going to change. So I use my computer, running 24/7. Yeah, the GPU is running 100%, but it's cooled very well. So hopefully it's not going to break anytime soon. I can't be sure of that, but that's a risk, I'm willing to take, right? Just so I can have like these baby stocks I can play with, What if I mine like just a small amount of this currency that's not super hot right now, but it'll be hot.
The next thing you know, it's like,
Exactly.
2,000% increase.
Exactly. So it's kind of my way of gambling. So I recently went to Vegas. I didn't really gamble. I'm not a gambler, right? So I didn't play any tables. I just put like $20 in slots and that's it. I'm like, it's not for me, right? But when you can involve technology in it,
That's so cool.
it's much more interesting to me.
Yeah, and if you think about it, when we're talking about making money online, this is truly passive income. Your computer's just running. You're out there.
You're just running,
It's making money for you. I'm just like, that's the coolest thing.
The hardware,
as long as you can maintain it.
Yeah, you're
exactly.
right. So,
But it gets really geeky about it too because you love nerding out about stats. How efficient is this? How efficient is this? If I do this and this and this, you can really control your outcome, right? Whereas you're playing like a slot machine, you have zero almost zero control in slots.
Mhm.
In table games, I mean, you can only do so much with the hand you're dealt, right? But with this cryptocurrency stuff, it's like, man, you can really change your odds, and you get to build your own like road to it, which is really cool. Some people would have machines with 5, 6 video cards, 12 video cards.
Oh,
A lot of
that's
people
crazy.
bought a bunch of video cards and flipped them. Did you think about it? You have 12 cards, you can probably be making, I don't know, close to $30 a day or something like that.
And that
So-
definitely adds up.
And you just look at the ROI. Well, when am I gonna pay off? I think for my card, I saw it's close to 4 to 5 days return on investment. So if I bought that card for 500, I'm buying $5 a day, it's gonna take me roughly a month and a half for me to pay my card off and then start making money on top of that.
Yeah.
Um,
And I
Yeah,
think, like when people think like $5 a day, okay, a lot of people would think that's not a lot of money. But if you think about it, over a month, that's $150, right? Now, what investment do you have? A lot of people talk about investing. They're like, put your money in investments. What investment, unless you have a lot of money that gains a large percentage of interest, is going to give you that type of return? It's not very much, and so.
I mean, yeah, it is still a market, right? So we gotta put that very clearly. It can go up, it can go down.
Sure.
You can lose everything, you can gain everything. It's
But the thing is, you're not putting money into it every day. You're just running your
If
computer.
you're putting in electricity, so you have your upfront cost, which is buying the hardware. You run the electricity, and then you run the risk of your GPU burning out.
That's correct. That's
So
correct.
if you take those things into consideration, yes, that's what you're putting in, and then what you're getting out $5 a day, plus the chance for that currency to just really shoot up in value. So you also
2,000%. So hopefully we'll make a follow-up
Yeah.
episode. We have a 2,000% celebration episode.
yeah. Hey guys, I'm doing Geek Bros Talk. We never have to work again. See ya. Have a good life.
And that is the Geek Bros gambling strategy.
That's right. That's right. You could sell that as a course, D-Box. So I had a question.
right
though.
on it.
Yeah, sure.
If you are running cryptocurrency through your machines, right? Is it OS specific, or it's agnostic?
So it depends on the mining software, right? So basically, again, like it's all agnostic. People had to make programs in order to mine this stuff. So there's like some entity, they're just like, okay, putting it out there, this is our cryptocurrency, and she won it, and this is how you get it. And then everyone started making their own tools, how to do it. You have things like dual miners. You can mine 2 currencies at one time. And basically, there's tools for different types of cards, whether you're AMD or NVIDIA. Generally, AMD starts to favor better because just the raw compute power. You have different tools for, just like the vendor type for the video card and OS level. So you have stuff for Windows, you have stuff for Linux. Right now, I'm running mine on Windows just because I had to do a bunch of other stuff on my desktop at the time. So like, well, I just run in the background. And again, it takes like almost 0 CPU usage up. So I can still do other stuff while I'm doing it. And my GPU is just idling anyway. So just run in the background, Ideally, though, I want to put it in my server and just have that run it because it's going to have a lower power draw overall, just because like smaller processor, smaller motherboard, everything is just smaller. And you don't need it. The only thing you really need is just the GPU itself.
Cool.
I have a super amateur setup. It's just a personal desktop, right? You have people running anything from like home labs all the way up to farms. So in China, they had this crazy, I saw this YouTube video for a crazy setup. It was just like hundreds upon hundreds of racks of this stuff, just mining.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And electricity in China is super cheap, right? So it's kind of lucrative for them in that perspective.
And I've seen that in the US too, where they'll have like semi trucks with nothing but servers, just running cryptocurrency farms in there, and that's just crazy. I mean, and it is a huge risk because you don't know the valuation. I mean, in that, if you think about if they were doing it on that big of a scale, there's absolutely no guarantees. And then even if you want to convert it, there's no guarantees, especially if other government entities, and I think a lot of them are looking to control it, and banks aren't really using Bitcoin, but they'll be using the technologies to have their own cryptocurrency, because they want
perhaps. I mean, because part of the whole thing behind cryptocurrency is like it's a decentralized currency. No one entity owns it. Like you have it's just data. You have a piece of data, it's yours, and people are willing to pay that for it. and they make it really easy to exchange it for other goods and services without regulation. That's the whole, I think, one of the biggest things of cryptocurrency. So I don't know if banks will get their own eventually.
Well,
in
I
terms
think they
of like,
will. I think they will because all governments they want to control this, and it's lucrative. And so if banks could have it, and then they have their own official cryptocurrency, then it's easy to brand that. You know, why are you going to go with unknown, who knows what? We're going to go with our bank's cryptocurrency, and then you know,
we'll see how long it takes for banks to adopt. But I mean,
but that's what I heard.
Anything else out there, like, people are flocking to it because it's another venue, like a freedom for them, like anything else.
Right.
They want to be able to do whatever they want with it, and not have anyone tell them how. Or
a lot of these, even some of these cryptocurrencies differ from each other. Is like level of privacy, because even Bitcoin, you can kind of track it a little bit. You see some governments like, oh, we're tracking through Bitcoin. Just like I mentioned earlier, because a lot of underhand black market stuff goes on with cryptocurrency, unfortunately. But it's like I mentioned earlier, it's a wild west, right? You do what you want with it, whether it's for good, for bad. There's no regulation, or little to no regulation. Even signing up for an account. So when you make a cryptocurrency address, you don't make an account. There's no username. There's no password. You just have your address, and money goes to it, and money comes out of it.
So I'm not sure who. So FedMaster, I don't know if that's somebody y'all know. They're asking. I don't know if you can see it. Make your own crypto with colored coins or waves. I don't know what that means. Like.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't like. Again, I've only been in this for like literally since last night. Just a couple hours into it. It's fun for me.
Oh, so I was right though. I mean, FedMaster is saying banks have accepted crypto. They're using Ethereum and created their own banks, their coin Ripple. So it's already started because I remember reading that. Like, banks are already getting into it. They're using. Yeah,
maybe more so just them accepting it. But I mean, like banks having their own crypto, maybe. I mean, could be. But yeah. It's fun stuff, and I feel like it's a rabbit hole I can see myself getting into, just like getting a really cool setup. At the same time, we don't know if like the market's going to crash or go back up or whatever, but it's hot right now. I mean, everyone's kind of like flocking to it for Ethereum.
Yeah, thanks a lot, FedMaster. I mean, we're only smart if one of us makes money out of it, or maybe
all for one for all. That's how this works.
It's like next episode. My GPU broke, guys.
I know. I need 15 more.
But it's definitely fun, cool, interesting stuff, and like I don't know, just like the whole this closeness to technology is really what piques my interest. So when you're done with that RX 470, just send it over this way.
I'll talk to you right after the show to see how we can get that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, he said you should buy Ethereum ASAP. Yeah, Ethereum is pretty expensive. Well, it's I don't know how much it's gonna keep rising, because like again, I'm still new to this too. So like the trend was basically within this month it shot up like just $200.
That's crazy.
And then you have people kicking themselves like, oh, I should have bought it when it was like, even now for like I should have bought it when it's less than 100. I should have bought it now.
100 per coin or
coin. Yeah.
Wow.
Hindsight.
Yeah, I mean, it's always hindsight. So that's why I started getting to I don't know. This is the other one I'm using is Zcash, and we'll see if it grows like Ethereum by the end of this year. If it does, I'll probably be up a couple $100. So
just move on to the next one.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of people putting their life savings into stuff too. So people just invest so much into it just to hope to hit it big, because it's just like it's that I don't know, high risk, high reward. You know,
I like the sound of 10 for a penny right there.
There's so many coins though. But yeah, again, so that's another thing. There's like 50, 60, 70. I mean, there's just so many out there. Like you don't know which one's gonna kind of come up in value.
Yeah.
Oh dang.
Yeah, 100 to 2K. I can get behind that right there.
Yeah. Yeah, so do you mine yourself, or are you just doing cash investments into this? It's pretty interesting. Give me the tips, guy. I know you got the tips.
I'm learning.
Yeah. It's just really cool stuff. I don't know, man. I love it. I'm loving it right now. I didn't think I'd get into it, but it's giving me this kind of rush.
Yeah.
I guess you get from investing like that.
And this is I think I've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Ever since the internet and ever since more and more technologies have evolved to where you could be geek and then you can use that knowledge to actually make money. Obviously, not everything is ethical and legal, but that's kind of crazy if you think about it. And like you said earlier, if you love analytics, you love performance, especially performance, like there's no better place to do it than on the internet. Like, you know, you'll make a change, you test something out, and you actually make money. And of course, you can lose money. That's the coolest feeling. You know, I mean, when you can make more, like if you could double your investment by 2,000%, that's nice. You know, it makes you want to do it even more because you're making money out of it.
I mean, and you would love to see because it's like all, well, for the most part, super anonymous. You know, like people don't know any idea who you are. You're just an address. You're just a number. But at the same time, again, going back to Wild Wild West thing, if you get hacked, someone could just like steal all your money like that, and you're gonna have no protection.
There's not a lot of protection, but you know, you understand some of these things going into it. So.
I mean, you got to take the preventions to mitigate those risks, but it could happen. I mean, I was reading a thread of someone who he sold something on Craigslist, and the guy's like, "Hey, I'm on a Google Hangouts. You have to press 5-1 to connect to me." But what actually he was doing was he was having I think Google authenticate his number as a activated line. So he basically was scamming this guy over the phone, and then like just got into his his email and stuff, and like it was a race between this guy and this other guy, like trying to log in into all his accounts to make sure like he didn't steal his bitcoins, because when you send your bitcoins over or whatever, or your cryptocurrency over, it's done. Like, you can't get it back.
Oh.
Yeah, it's over. There's no bank to regulate it to protect you. Nothing. It's just you send it, it's done.
Wow. And
so you can get basically internet hijacked. Money,
in general, I mean, I know you just started this, but how would you secure yourself? Like, what are some ways to secure yourself?
Don't get hacked.
Know yet. Yeah.
Basically, don't get hacked. I mean, there's a lot of ways. Well, again, I'm still new, so maybe there's not a lot of ways, but basically, just don't put your password. Basically, all your crypto wallet address has like this very certain password. Is make sure that just doesn't get leaked. Make sure no one has access to it. I mean, I don't know yet. I'm still learning, so.
Okay.
I guess like the safest way is just, like anything else online, the less other people know, the better for you.
Yeah, that's right.
Fedmaster is trying to get us to invest. Should we trust them, guys?
I don't know.
Trust them.
I got $5.
Maybe.
I have $1 right here. This is going into it.
You get 0.0000001 like Bitcoin with that.
I'll start, but I'll grow.
Yeah.
So that's a really interesting thing, and I think a lot more people are going to be getting into this. I know we're geek fools.
Yeah. Hey, I'm still getting into it, so I'm having fun with it. Maybe I'll check it out. I mean, I don't know where it's gonna go, but I'm definitely interested.
And because this is gonna be something that's gonna be more common, they'll also create a lot more opportunities for people who want to do this as a living. Because there's security that you could get into, there's performance-based stuff that you could get into, there's a sales side. Once this becomes more mainstream and commercialized, then there's going to be a lot of money for everyone around it. Just like any new type of technologies, or in this case, it's not even just technology. It's a whole new type of platform as well, and a whole new type of currency. So that's going to be really cool. So yeah, keep running that cryptocurrency server.
Yeah, I mean, ICOs, initial coin offerings. We'll do.
All right, that's like an IPO. Hey, ICO was a great video game too. So.
Oh yeah, it was a pretty good video game.
Yes, it was.
But yeah, so maybe we'll be accepting donations in cryptocurrency pretty soon.
Yeah.
I mean.
You know what? Since Fedmaster's on here, you could be our first donation. That would be pretty awesome.
No.
Come on. Yeah.
Solicit advice on how to get rich, but not donations.
Yeah. Okay, so cryptocurrency, get into it. Give us all your GPUs. We'll gladly help you with that.
Yeah, and from what Fadmaster is saying, yeah. Sure. Anyways, mine low cost coins like open value. I mean, possibly. Yeah, there's so many out there. Like if you just mine a little bit of everything, like something's bound to go up, right? Like you just diversifying on your coins so much, like you have to hit one of them. Anyways, yeah, maybe I'll give you my wallet number a little bit later. Just hold on to that thought for a second. Anyways, so yeah, I mean that's the gist of our AMD cryptocurrency stuff. I mean, we may be talking a lot more about it because it does involve technology, business, markets, and it just hits all areas for us. Anyways, so I think that's enough for cryptocurrency for now. You know, we'll definitely report back as we learn more on it. And thanks, Fedmaster, for all the advice.
Much appreciated.
Yeah. So now we're gonna get into some of the other just random geeky rants that we normally get into. So, what have you guys been up to? What have you been playing? What have you been seeing? What have you been doing?
Let's see. This past weekend, I just went to Sierra Nevada's beer camp over in the city. And so every year they have what's called Beer Camp Across America, which is really cool because their main brewing facility is in Chico, right?
Just Northern California, kind of like the more sticks part of Northern California.
And the other thing is they have a second brewing facility in Raleigh, North Carolina. And even as big as the company at Sierra Nevada is, I've always got like a bunch of respect for them because they still keep everything in their family. They haven't sold out to, InBev, Anheuser-Busch. And while you can see their stuff everywhere, they do a lot of work trying to improve their standing and, trying to be a little more environmentally conscious as well. So they just recently unveiled, they have like entire fields of solar panels. They've been using wind power as well. And to just try to make their beers, cleaner and greener, which is always awesome. And so what they do is a beer camp across America. They travel across the country and they go and they partner up with different breweries to make special collaboration beers. And this year they took it one step further and they did beer camp across the world.
Oh, wow.
So, So they had 6 domestic collaborations and 6 international collaborations.
So was this also like a competition as well, or?
No. So they kind of reached out to certain breweries around the world, and certain breweries reached out to them as well. And it's pretty cool. Like they brought in a lot of big international players, people who would never have collaborated before, like Eyinger in Germany. They've got Fuller's over in London, Garage Project in New Zealand, Kyuchi Brewing, who produces all of the Hitachi no Nest beers out of Ibaraki, Japan, McKellar in Denmark. And it's like, these are some big people around the world, and they're all coming together to, put their 2 cents into making a beer together.
So can you go over like the community of the beer industry and like why it's so cool for just these brewers just to hang out? I mean, is it just like the nature of, is that what beer does to you? You just drink some and just chill with your homies, or?
Well, kind of like anything else, like it's a little different from, it's not nearly as cutthroat as a lot of other industries, right? People aren't going to really try to shut each other out as much just because it's such a burgeoning, I don't know, I guess right now everyone is so receptive to beer and people just want to make more beer and share it. I mean, I think that's awesome. Used to be, it was like InBev, Anheuser-Busch, and Miller Coors, they controlled about 70% of the beer market in North America alone.
Wow.
Which is, I mean, just for those who don't know, it's like the macro brews, which is your standard like Bud Light, Corona, all the standard beers that you think of, like that has been around for forever.
But now people, they're starting to realize like, oh, look, there's so many other types of beer, so many different flavors that have become just so accessible for people. And another cool part about that is smaller breweries are able to open up because the cost to open up these breweries is a lot more feasible on local scale. And then once again, let's say like, oh, there's a brewery that just opened up down the street. Of course, I'm going to try them out, see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And in Northern California, like this is a really rapidly expanding scene. I mean, for instance, San Diego, they had over 300 craft breweries in that county, right?
What?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Wow.
And
how do they even like survive, like business-wise? That's so much competition.
right, and you would think that would lead to like kind of a market oversaturation, but it's just like, you know, more beer out there, more people are going to try it out, and like
supply and demand. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe you can guess like demand's not gonna be that high, but demand is that high, and even for these smaller breweries to stay afloat, I mean, the profit margins have to be pretty good on beer, right? I mean, can you give like a rough cost of like what it costs to produce one pint versus what you guys sell it for?
So, all right. So, for instance, even on a homebrew scale, right? Let's say you want to make beer for yourself. You could pick up a basic kit from your local craft brew supply store. I started out with mine. It was like $50 for all of my ingredients, right?
Just
That
ingredients.
Yeah. And then for my time and labor costs, it was like, okay, we spent, 5-6 hours actually doing stuff, another hour for cleanup, and then you let your beer ferment for a while and brew. And that yielded 5 gallons, right?
Wow.
So 5 gallons or 5.5 gallons will yield about 41 pints.
Oh wow.
So that's like at a home level, which is probably gonna be the most expensive level, to be honest. As you scale up, it should get cheaper because you get to kind of produce more of it. So, I mean, that's close to what, like $1.10, maybe a little bit less than that, $1, whatever.
And now we're talking about even local, like smaller craft breweries that opened up. They'll have like they'll be able to produce 20 gallons at a time, right?
Yeah.
Or like even bigger, like going up to 20 barrels. And a barrel is about 30 gallons.
And how much is like average cost of like the barrel? Not the barrel itself, but the beer in the barrel.
The beer in the barrel. So let's say, for instance, you wanted to like market price.
Sure.
For once again, let's see, a 5-gallon keg is going to be anywhere from 60 to 120, 130 on average.
Okay, and then you said 5 gallons, right?
Yeah.
So you get about 40 pints for that, and you sell those at like $10 each, which is 400. So it's almost like a 300% margin profit, or
roughly.
Yeah. So I mean, to me, I feel like that's why maybe beer is just succeeding, because like people are just willing to pay. And I guess it's like that precedent has been set, right, by these craft brewers. Like, hey, you wanted to pay $7, $8, $9, $10 for a pint or whatever, and it's essentially like fairly cheap to make. I mean, yes, you have to be like a master at it, right? Like you have to, like any chef, right? You have to be good at what you do.
Well, and that's kind of the thing. That's kind of the crazy part too. Like in any new business that opens up, you have to be either better than your competition or you have to be different from the competition. And it's just like some people don't make it. That just happens.
Right. Of course.
But the number of people who continue on is like, it bodes well. It says that the market is really receptive on it.
But that's kind of surprising though. I didn't realize there was that much profit in beer. I mean,
not nearly as much in crypto, but
yeah.
But I mean, from like an outsider's perspective, it's like, wow, you can actually thrive, fairly well in this if you know what you're doing.
Yeah. And like it's changing all over the country. It's big here in the States, or I mean in California for sure. But even I was traveling through, going through Middle America, going through the South, and like more and more podunk towns are opening up their own local stuff. Because all you really need is you just need like, you can get like an aluminum building, fill it up with your equipment, and then beer is just comprised of, water, hops, malt.
This culture is spreading, right, pretty rapidly, and It's really cool to see. I mean,
Right.
for it to
And kind of like going back to what I was starting to say earlier, so Beer Camp across the world, yeah, they're able to take this celebration of craft beer around the world, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we still here?
Yeah. Well, now it's on. I don't know what
Cool.
happened. It just lost the connection.
Yeah. I mean, he's been into beer, and I feel like he's always into beer. So, I mean, what have you been up to then?
Oh well. I just saw Wonder Woman. So
Yeah.
that was the highlight of my.
Sorry about
It's pretty
that.
well received, right?
Yeah. That was actually something that I wasn't expecting. I was just you know, a possibility was asking what went on Geeky
Oh,
this
yeah.
week, and
Yeah.
the geekiest thing that I could think of is the Wonder Woman movie. You know, I don't know.
Hello?
If you
You're
can
right,
hear us.
right.
Yeah, can you hear us? No, I don't know. If you
I
can
don't
hear
think
us.
so.
Okay.
Hey, that guy's really dumb. Hey, look at him.
No.
Look at me. I'm Danny Boxcutter.
Um,
All right, can you hear us now?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Nope. Anyways,
Yeah. So
keep talking behind his back.
I know. So there's been a lot of like sci-fi comic book movies that's been out this past year. Doctor
Yeah.
Strange came out.
Right.
Alien Covenant, Guardians of the
Hello?
Galaxy 2.
A lot
Yeah,
of
can you hear us?
space-related movies coming out too.
oh man, come on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and honestly, I didn't really want to see any of them. Actually, I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't like really worth it to
Right.
go out there and see it. But Wonder Woman was one that I wanted to see.
Right. I mean,
And
and you've seen the other DC movies, so like, how does it stack up compared to? Because I mean, like all the DC movies, like it's not that good.
Anyone
Yeah,
can
so-
hear me? I'm really sorry about all this.
okay. Oh, can you hear us?
He's just
No, okay. So
Here,
wait,
put it out.
I'm gonna put on a okay until he gets back on. And so, in terms of like what my rating is for Wonder Woman, where it stands out of DCEU, I would rank it at the best right now. I really did enjoy Man of Steel. Man of Steel was great. It was fun. Okay, so that's I did the review on Wonder Woman, and so the number one thing that I talk about, it's a fun movie. And then I would put Man of Steel right below it, not by much, but I put it right below it. And then BVS, I wasn't really feeling, and the worst one was Suicide Squad. I'd have to rank it that way.
I don't know. Did you see Green Lantern? That was pretty bad too.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I got it.
I mean,
It was
Suicide Squad was pretty bad, but Green Lantern was also.
It was so bad that I did forget about it. So yeah, Green Lantern was horrible. They're gonna
Yeah. Also, yeah. Fedmaster asked if you do reviews on YouTube, and you definitely do reviews on YouTube.
reviews of. Oh yeah.
You review everything. You review like
Yeah.
products, movies, TV shows, games.
Yeah. I'm an addict. I'm an addict for YouTube. So yeah, you can check it out.
Yeah.
You can look up my playlist and stuff if you wanted to see it. But yeah, in terms of what Wonder Woman did. Okay, that sounded really bad. What was
Hey.
that? Okay.
Messing up the stream.
Yes, but
There you go.
yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that, and it gives me like I would say like a lot of hope for what DC Universe can offer.
Right.
But the only thing is whether or not it's too late for them to change anything because JLA they're already shooting, right? So who knows if they're able to change anything? They could.
Yeah. I mean, do you think it was just like the director? I mean, it was like, do you think that's like probably the most influential part about it? I mean, I can't really like say why. Like most DC Universe movies are just kind of like okay or
Yeah.
middling at best.
And this isn't really too bad, like a huge knock on Zack Snyder because he was pretty much given like the helm. And Zack Snyder, if you've read the news personally, he's going through a lot right now.
I'm not aware. No.
Yeah, but he's basically off of JLA in terms of the main person because his daughter, she committed suicide.
Oh.
And so, so not anything personally against Zack Snyder in that sense, but in the sense of why the DC movies have been like they are, I think a lot of it does have to do with the person controlling it, and the director is definitely the most important part, but I would also think that the script writing as well, because, these DC movies, you had really great actors and actresses. Just look at Suicide Squad.
Mhm.
You know, Will Smith was in there, and there were other actors and actresses. And you know, even the other movies, Ben Affleck was in BVS, and so I
Mhm.
think it has a lot to do with the
Hey,
director and the script writing. Hey, can you
Yeah.
hear us?
yeah.
What happened? Oh, it's just a technical difficulty.
Technology.
Technology.
Get off my
I
Yeah.
love
lawn.
it. I love it.
So my Bluetooth headset was also connected to my phone, and there's a call that came up a second ago, and
Oh,
yeah. So sorry about that, everybody.
yeah, it's all good. We were just briefly talking about Wonder Woman while you were gone,
Yeah. And
and
we
I
made
mean,
fun of you for like
yeah,
a
yeah,
solid 5 minutes when you were gone.
yeah. And so the whole gist of it was it's the best DC movie now, currently.
That's what I hear.
Yeah,
That's what I
and
hear.
so I think it'll surprise you in terms of like why you'd want to watch it because as I was telling possibilities earlier, you know, there's been like a whole
Hmm.
bunch of sci-fi comic book movies this year that I didn't want to watch any of them.
Hmm.
Even Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I wasn't like super hyped up to watch it.
It
But
was
this,
okay.
oh, you
Yeah.
saw it?
Hmm.
Yeah, Garden City was alright. I mean, but we continue on. We can talk about that after this. So
No, that's it. I'm just saying if you haven't seen Wonder Woman, go check it out.
it's just
Um,
Hmm.
good fun. I mean,
yes, it's a fun
it,
movie.
it's formulaic. Does it follow like the Marvel
Um,
formula?
it does get. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's in my review, and a lot of people know it already. But
Mm,
the whole first half of the movie, awesome. I really have
mm,
very few negatives or any at all, really. But it's really
yeah.
like the last half. It does have a formula, and unfortunately, it has
Mm,
the Zack Snyder formula.
mm,
Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, but above and beyond that, definitely go watch it. And I think Gal Gadot, Chris Pine, Patty Jenkins, the
Hmm.
director, Robin Wright,
Right.
Connie
I
Nelson,
hear
awesome.
it's the highest opening female directed movie
Oh,
like
easily. Yeah.
ever.
Yeah, like over the weekend, domestically here in the U.S., it made like 103 million, and then in terms of worldwide, another 122 million. So it made over almost like 230 million in its
Hmm.
first
Right.
weekend, and
yeah.
so it did really well, and that's great. I mean, I'm glad. It hit many milestones, but you know, first and foremost, all of us watch movies, okay, and so it's got to be a good movie first and foremost, you know,
Hmm.
and that's what the director Patty Jenkins set it out to be. She set it out to be a really great movie, and I think she
Hmm.
she did an excellent job. So go watch it. It's a fun movie, and unlike the other DC universes, you won't be walking out pissed off, disappointed.
Yeah,
Except for Man of
that's what
Steel,
I
I
saw.
really enjoy Man of Steel. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good, and oh no, it bodes well for DC, like having kind of that good press and publicity about it again. But
yep.
it makes me going back to what Snyder. He's dropping out of the Justice League movie due to family
Yeah, you missed that.
concerns.
We already talked about that.
Oh,
You missed that
well, fine,
conversation.
my bad.
Lame.
Yeah,
That's what
Maybe I'll just leave again then. I know when I'm not wanted.
let me
Yeah.
call you on your phone real quick so disconnect you. Just get
Don't
trolled.
stop it. Don't do that.
um, but yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah. It's definitely worth watching. So it's a really
Yeah.
good movie.
Yeah. I mean, like comparison to Guardians. I mean, I saw Guardians, and it's kind of what I expected it to be. I mean, even look at the trailers, you can kind of tell that they're trying to ride a lot of the highs of the original Guardians, and
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of
Oh,
that.
later, Fed Master.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in,
See
dude.
you,
Thanks,
guy.
man. Thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's about what you probably expect. So I mean, it's
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
not as good as Guardians One in my opinion.
Yeah, and
Where it
that's
was
kind
good.
of like Marvel. They do a good job across the MCU, but it feels
Mhm.
like they can never really get past a B plus. I mean, like, there's
Yeah,
nothing that's ever going to be like, oh my god, this is amazing. But I mean, they're
yeah.
fun, they're good.
Mm-hmm.
But I
I
don't know.
mean, yeah. I mean, to me, like Rio Guardians was. I would say A. I mean, to me, I mean, I
Oh,
really
I
enjoyed
loved
it.
it.
I was
Yeah.
surprised, you know, like actually how much I enjoyed it. And then Guardians too.
Mhm.
Like I don't know, my mentality always going into Marvel movies is mostly like, I
Yeah. You
mean,
kind
it's
of know what to
Marvel, it's
expect.
formulaic. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
going to be. I may not regret it, but I mean, I could have done something better by time. Almost the kind of
Ex-
feeling.
except for
Mm.
Logan. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
That was
right.
Fox, though. That was
Which
Fox.
I love. Yeah, but it's still
yeah,
Marvel. You know, I mean, if they made more stuff like that, I would watch more of their movies. Logan was one I
Mhm.
really wanted to watch. I put it.
right.
It's tied with Avengers for my favorite comic book movie. You know, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's the exception now. all the other Marvel-based properties. I mean, even like Spider-Man: Homecoming, it looks pretty fun, but
I want it to
I
be
don't
good
know.
though. I
Yeah, I
want it to
wanted
be
to,
good.
but the more trailers I see, the more I'm thinking like, it's probably gonna be more of the same, just
I
a
Yeah.
lot
just
more
I hope they
story.
don't. I understand it. Yeah, it's cool. They're putting Iron Man in it. That's
Mm-hmm.
great, but I don't want him to hog up too much of the limelight and everything here. It's still supposed to be a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah. And anyway, that'd be interesting, but it's not a must see. I don't think. We'll wait for the
Right.
reviews, but I'm kind of like I've talked about this, so I'm burnt out on them. I'm just like
Mhm.
so the stuff like Wonder Woman, that was a breath of fresh air, and it was done
Mhm.
really well. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the only movie I've seen recently is Guardians, and
Mhm.
it was okay. I mean, the first half was a lot of just like old jokes. Hey guys, remember this? Hey
Mhm.
guys, remember this?
yeah,
Yeah.
There was parts in the second half that I enjoyed, but it was kind of just a little, too far and few in between.
Mhm.
Um,
hmm
okay movie,
Yeah.
not bad by any means, but not great.
Right. It's always hard to do like a good Marvel sequel,
Mhm.
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
because
Yeah.
they have to refresh everyone about the previous event, but at the same time, you're
Mhm.
like, okay, so that's 30 minutes of exposition going into
Yeah.
hmm
this.
I
hmm
mean, maybe it's pretty similar too. I mean, I haven't watched Audemars movies, but I kind of had the same with First Class, and then the one after it. I forgot which one.
Days of Future Past.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
Yeah,
really
yeah.
like First Class. Like, ooh, that was really good. That
I
was,
that
like
was.
First Class more still.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
definitely. And
yeah.
that's
Me
like
too.
it
Definitely.
was surprisingly good. That's the same feeling I got from Guardians, and then the sequel. It's kind
Mhm.
of like it's okay, but it's
Yeah.
Well, okay. Have you guys seen Civil War?
Yes.
yeah,
Okay, so I feel like that was one of the better Marvel sequels, at least, because
Yeah, it
Iron
was.
Man, First Avenger was cool. I like the old throwback and feel to it. But then Winter Soldier, you're like, all right, modernizing him, getting him here.
hmm
But
hmm
Civil War, they finally went off, and spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it out there yet. I like the departure from the weak villains.
mhm.
It really wasn't about the villain in this movie. It was about our heroes and watching them being torn apart.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Civil War was definitely good. I liked it better than Winter Soldier, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And it was fun at the same time. I always use that word fun because if it's not fun to watch, I don't really want to watch it. And especially if it's a comic book movie.
Yeah.
So
I
it
mean, it
should
seems
be.
like maybe when you go watch movies, like that's the engaging part for you. It's just you're
Yeah,
having like a good time, you're smiling, you're like, oh
yeah,
yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah,
happening,
yeah.
you
It's
know?
fun.
and
Yeah.
especially like going out to a theater, it's like it's a huge screen. You're sharing it with everyone, and you want that energy level to be like,
Yeah.
yeah,
So that's the difference between still, even though our home theater systems are amazing, that's what you can't get in the home
You're
theater.
right.
You can't
yeah,
get that.
I
that shared
remember,
experience there.
yeah, I went to watch a Dragon Ball Z movie in theaters.
Anime, not the movie.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, the anime one, and
Uh,
it was just a
Battle of
room.
Gods.
Yeah, yeah, Battle Gods with
Yeah.
what's his face? B something.
Hey,
Anyways,
yeah.
yeah, it's just like 200 Dragon Ball Z nerds in one room. And then as soon as like the title came out, it was like, yeah, woo, yeah,
Yeah.
it was like losing their minds
Everyone's just
about
like,
it.
yeah.
It's
Hey,
the
what's
most
up,
hype I've ever been
Okay,
in a
what's up,
movie
True
theater.
Living Southern Organics? Just joined. Um, yeah, Chris Evans, pretty cool.
Yeah. He did actually get recast a lot for it, but I still can't just get over him. Like he'll always stand out to me as another comic book casting in Scott Pilgrim as
Mhm, right.
as one of the evil X's. I was like, he's good at
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
playing that douchey action movie star, which he would grow into.
Hey, that's funny though. We talked about DBZ, right? So have any of y'all seen? And I know this is already kind of old now, but the last one with the it had multiple Gokus, the Black Dark Goku. Did you see that one?
I'm talking about like Dragon Ball GT.
No, no, no. There was a new. I can't remember. I had to look up
Dragon Ball
Crunchyroll.
Super.
Yeah, there was a new one. I don't
Yeah.
even think it's new anymore, but never mind. I guess none of us watched it. I just watched bits and pieces. There was a Dark Goku as well.
I mean, I haven't watched an anime series in quite some time now. I don't remember what was the last one I finished. The last one I really remember watching was just Initial D in high school.
Oh,
I just like I marathon that like night after night, staying up to like 3 or 4 in the morning. So,
I just finished watching One Punch Man again, and if you guys haven't watched that already, it's on Netflix and it's only like 12 episodes.
yeah.
And it does such a good job about, subverting all of those old shonen anime tropes and everything.
Oh, I'm sorry. True Living Southern Organics is on Crunchyroll, 92 episodes. Is it called DBZ Forever? I think that's what he means. It is called DBZ Forever.
That was like DBZ Super. Was that a different series?
I think Super's still ongoing.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, it is. It is Dragon Ball Super. Okay.
Yeah, Super Giant Ball Z.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah, because they retconned everything from like GT because nobody wanted that.
Yeah, GT was pretty horrible. Oh, I will say this, y'all. In terms of anime, I talk a lot about Netflix stuff. If you haven't seen it, I will do a later review on it. It's called Blam, BLAME. If you pronounce it's Blame, but it's actually Blam. It's basically
Blame.
Yeah, really cool. A really cool manga in the late '90s. It is on Netflix. It's one of the best animes I've seen this year. Besides the one your name that you were talking about, it is on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, it's really.
Is it a movie or I'm sorry, is it a movie or series?
It's a whole movie, but I wasn't familiar with this anime. The way it's pronounced, the way it's spelled is Blame, BLAME,
Right.
with the exclamation point. It is on Netflix,
Blam.
but it's Blam, and it's based upon a really popular manga in the '90s. And man, it was awesome. It reminded me of Matrix. It reminded me of what's another movie? Never mind. It reminded me. Matrix was the first thing I thought about, but it also had elements of Akira in there as well, in a kind of weird way, and lots of androids and stuff. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. The animation's awesome. I was surprised. That's why I love Netflix. It's like they have weird stuff. It is Netflix produced, by the way. So and it did come out.
They're getting more and more into that. And speaking about another Netflix produced anime, they're making an animated Castlevania series.
Yes, I saw the trailer. Did you see it?
I did, and I want it to be good.
Dude,
I want it. I don't believe.
You know what's funny? Like when they first started talking about that, because Death Note, the live one's coming out. I'm not sure about that. But when they first started talking about the Castlevania series on Netflix, I even heard original talks about it might be live action. I'm like, don't do it. Do not do a live action Castlevania.
I mean, if they could just do it in the same style that Vampire Hunter D was in, that'd be perfect.
I mean, is it going for that really dark gothic look though?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
even Hellsing, I mean, that'd be fun too. Yeah.
And I don't know, looking through some of the characters and everything, it looks kind of like they might be doing the story from Castlevania 3.
Yes, because it had
looks like
Alucard.
I saw Sypha and Grant Dynasty there too, and I was like, okay, I can watch this.
Yeah, and what's the other? She had the magician, the sorceress as well. She's in.
Yeah, that's Sypha.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I couldn't remember the name when I saw it. I'm like, is that Castlevania 3? And so.
Yeah, and that one was not crap. Which Belmont was it here?
Simon, Richter,
Trevor.
Yeah, it was Trevor. It's Trevor.
Wow, and if you count all the mobile games, there's been so many different characters.
I mean, with the mobile games, like they were always a different character, though, right? There wasn't anyone necessarily like a Belmont or.
No, the only time they reused mobile pro tag was in Dawn of Sorrow and Aria of Sorrow, because it was.
I'm just saying, like even like relation to Belmonts, right? None of them were really a Belmont, right?
No, because the one after that, they actually had it was a kind of a follow up to Bloodlines on the Genesis.
Oh, that was fun. I really enjoyed Bloodlines.
Bloodlines is still like one of my favorite old school Castlevanias.
No, definitely.
But I'm looking forward to having what is it? Bloodstained. Come up pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, what is the update on that? I haven't seen anything on it.
No, it's been a while.
Yeah, the last update I saw because was a Q&A with Iga, and they showed some. I think the last time they showed some new, I guess, demo
Yeah.
for it. So it's you know in the whole game development world, it's to be expected when games get pushed, But I really, really hope it turns out well. That one and Shenmue 3, I want it to
Yeah.
just sell a crap ton, And so
I mean, it's hard
It
for like
looks very-
these video game visionaries to be running a company now, because before they didn't have to run a company, they didn't have to manage people under them. They just had to make
Yeah.
their game. But now I think that's where like a lot of Kickstarters fall short. It's like, oh, we have all these resources, but we don't know how to manage it properly. So
right, and it still takes a big effort there.
yeah, because I think even like if you guys know Lord British, creator of Ultima, I mean, he had his
Yeah.
Kickstarter
Yes.
for Shroud of the Avatar, and even he was like, I think, trying to get more funds for that, because he's like, well, we have about enough money for 4 years of development, but we probably need more, which is kind of, I guess.
Wow,
Yeah, go ahead.
Didn't they raise a lot on that one, or was that the other one, the guy who did Wing Commander? That one just the highest one.
Oh, Star Citizen?
Yeah,
Not
that's
Star
it.
Citizen. It's Star Citizen.
Yeah, $80 million.
Yeah, and that's still like coming out, pretty frequently. I know they have like always like tons of updates, and like the game's actually in a playable state, so it's like a tangible thing, right? You actually have it. But for Shadow of the Avatar, it was kind of pegged, I think, as an online game, or it's like a RPG that had online elements. But now it's starting to go more towards an MMORPG kind of nature.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's why he was like trying to get more funds for it, is because like, well, we have about this much, but I mean, good for him that he can tell right ahead, like you're not going to develop the game for 3-4 years and like, oh, we're out of money. Now what?
And half finished.
Yeah, exactly. Which has happened to a lot of his other MMO RPGs like Tabula Rasa.
Oh man, that was a train wreck. Jesus.
Yeah, and I was reading some like the stuff on Tabula Rasa, and what happened was like Nexon had contacted him to make an MMORPG for like the Asian scene, right? For like Korea, China, eventually Japan, all that. And like 2 years into development, the publisher, they're like, every time you guys try to make Asian looking armor, it just looks really westernized. Like it doesn't look domestic, right? It doesn't look like an actual Asian team made it or whatever. So they're like, well, it's probably not gonna do well. And then at that point, they're like, well, just scrap it, and then you still got to get the game out on time, even though you put 2 years of development into it, right? So
wow,
like a lot of pitfalls in in game development like that. But
yeah,
for his latest one, I think they raised quite a bit of money for it, but even then, he was still like, we probably need some more. And then a lot of people are also saying you're being too ambitious with it, and he's kind of like in the same vein of Peter Molyneux. He always like overpromised, under-delivered, right?
Yeah.
What's his name? Richard Garriott? Sir?
Richard Garriott,
Yeah.
Lord British.
Yeah.
Lord
He's
Britannia.
already wealthy though. I mean, he went
No,
to
yeah.
and stuff.
He has a
he's
castle.
Yeah.
He's in space. I mean, does he own like part of Virgin? I think maybe something like that.
Yeah, something. He's still not as rich as Notch though. Notch took it up a notch. You know what I mean?
Not a lot of people have that.
Yeah. Anyway, so like, we can transition to games a little bit. I mean, you guys been playing any games recently?
Dark Souls 3.
Yeah, you've been playing Dark Souls 3. How is that? You played 2, right?
Yeah. So the only one I haven't gone through is Demon Souls.
Right.
But I played 1, 2, Bloodborne, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, was that?
How does 3 stack up?
It's going over well. I like it more than 2 a lot already. It's not nearly as gimmicky, and they're trying really hard to bring back a lot of nostalgia from the first one, which so far it's been handled pretty well. There's Onion Bro, and it's nice to see people praising the sun again.
How is the level design?
That is one of the parts I actually really like about it again.
Okay, cool.
Because Dark Souls 1, it was so like sprawling and free flowing, and everything it was really seamless. And there were so many different ways where you could tackle things, or like, I love these games because they just like, all right, do something.
You have like a sense of exploration, and there really is no right or wrong way. I mean, it doesn't like, there's no artificial barrier, right? for
No.
the most part. I mean, you can like if you can get there, you can die. I mean,
Oh yeah.
maybe you don't have to be there yet, but it doesn't tell you that. It doesn't hold your hand and be like,
Nope.
hey, you probably shouldn't be here, guy.
Like in the first Dark Souls, all they tell you is go ring a bell, and I went the opposite direction, and I went down to like
The graveyard, right?
Yeah, the old Londo.
Oh yeah.
And there are all these like phantom ghosts that would just kill me, and I couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I spent 2 hours doing that.
Right,
Wow.
right. Or even if you go to the graveyard, like, all right, I can kind of hit this guy, but he keeps coming back. I'm like,
hmm
um,
But then, yeah, there's so many different keys and ways to open through and explore. It's great.
mhm.
But in Dark Souls 2, it's just like, all right, here's a fire area, here's a forest area.
Yeah, from what I read, Dark Souls 2 was almost meant to be open world. Just like if you just look at the map design, like the map layout, it
hmm
kind of has like that feeling to it.
Yeah.
Whereas I felt like 1 was just, I mean, I haven't played 2. I kind of want to go through and play 2 and 3, but I don't want to burn myself out on Dark Souls, too fast. The 1 just had a really tight map design. I mean,
Yeah.
you knew exactly where. I mean, after you've been around it a few times, and you have to go around it a few times towards the middle and the end, but
hmm
you pretty much knew where everything was, what led to what. I mean, there was like a lot of what's that word? Not monuments, but landmarks, so you can tell like
Oh, yeah.
exactly where you are, how to get from there. And they did the fast travel correctly. I mean, they made it easy and not like a hassle to go back to certain areas after
hmm
going through it.
And once again, just because of the way the system is designed, backtracking isn't always the worst,
Mhm.
because they do a really good job with character progression. Like you can go back to earlier areas and you can get that feeling of like, look how much stronger my character has become now.
Right.
People who were just stomping you into the ground, you're like, oh no, I can handle this.
Yeah. And I've heard it a few times, but it's really akin to almost like Zelda level design. You have all these different areas, but they're all connected, and you can get to them from multiple places. You can fast travel, but at the end of the day, it's just like you're really familiar with it. And yeah.
And even going beyond that, was that
Did you pass the game? Just curious.
Yeah, I beat Dark Souls 1, yeah.
1 I beat, 2 I did not. I got like 70% into it, and I was like, then I rage quit at the boss, and I didn't come back.
It's just like too gimmicky.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, oh look, here's one boss.
Like
that
two
you
of
fought
them.
earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. That's always like cheap design to me. It's like, really, guys?
I
Really?
know.
That's old school gaming, right? You fight all the
Because they didn't have the resources back then to make a new boss. Just throw two of them in there.
And it's just like copy, paste,
Paste,
and
done.
there we go. But
So it's a
really
challenge.
having a lot of fun with, and
Yeah.
there's so much polish into it as well. One of the frustrating things I did forget about it is getting invaded by other players.
Oh, that's part of the Dark Souls experience, man. I mean, you got to embrace it.
I know, but it's always the worst because they always show up right before you get to the boss. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna save all my Estus flasks, and oh god, here they come.
So I'm not too familiar with the game because it's just I'm not. But is this the last one, or
From Software has announced they're probably going to be done with everything after this one.
wow, what are they gonna do after this? I mean, do they have any other properties that I don't? Think
Armored Core?
Tenchu.
Oh, well, Armored Core. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
we played those games forever.
Yeah, I can't believe that they were the ones who did Armored Core. I mean, I would have never expected them to do that.
Yeah.
That type of game.
They just specialize in super niche.
Customizable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you're not a gamer, if you were to see Dark Souls, you would think it's an American-based company that made this, or European. But no, From Software is from Japan.
And they nailed it. I mean,
Oh yeah. Like the atmosphere and everything, like the architecture is just like, and it takes you through like a lot of those big, Victorian, or sorry, I'm thinking Bloodborne, like all the old castles and everything. It looks really cool.
Yeah. And to go from giant robots to like medieval Europe is gonna it's kind of crazy. So I'm waiting for the crossover game. I'm waiting for Armored Core Souls.
Armored Souls.
Armored Souls. I'm waiting for it.
Wait,
I'll play that.
Have they ever made a modern sequel or like recent? I don't think they have.
There was an Armored Core on 360 and PC that came out. It was not very well
No,
received.
it was Armored Core for Answer or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, it wasn't.
No, I was thinking of Front Mission. They came out with a really bad Front Mission game on PC and 360. And Front Mission is another giant mech game that's by Square.
Yeah, Square,
Squaresoft.
Yeah, it's a strategy game, more of a strategy game.
Yeah, but the latest one that came out was more of like an action arcade game. It was
Yeah,
terrible.
I like my SRPGs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you played Dark Souls 3 on the PS4? Or
Yep.
Speaking of the PS4, I saw the new Tekken.
Oh yeah, Tekken 7.
Tekken 7 just came out.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to pick it up yet, but
That's good.
yeah, it looks good. It's got Kuma in it.
Mhm.
It's also got regular Kuma,
Mhm.
so you could fight a bear.
Are you gonna get Injustice 2?
I actually played through the whole story mode with some friends already.
Oh really? How was
Was it
it?
any good?
Yeah, that's the thing. NetherRealm Studios, they've done starting with like Mortal Kombat 9 whenever they first rebooted. It like the story mode's fun. Like it takes you through the vantage points of all the different characters and it brings it in like the super cinematic story.
I mean,
telling.
it's just a comic book, right? Basically, it's just like playing a comic book.
And it's just a lot of fun. Like we finished the whole thing in one sitting, so and it still took us like 5 hours
Wow.
Yeah.
for a fighting game
Yeah,
story.
but for fighting game story, I mean, fighting games are
Yeah.
never really
Mhm.
known for that.
Yeah. I mean, but I did enjoy the last time I played a modern fighting game. Was that Mortal Kombat? That was a good reboot. It
Yeah.
was actually fun. And so Injustice, I haven't played yet, but it looks cool though. It really does.
Yeah,
I feel
the facial features and everything has it's been a big jump up from the first game, and the backgrounds are so detailed, and watching all the stuff happen as you're like wailing on people.
I do like the cutscenes though. I mean, it had the comic book element, even though it was CG, or real time in this case. But it looked really good. I saw some clips of Superman and Wonder Woman in there in the scenes, and then also Batman.
Yeah, and I feel like NetherRealm Studios, it's formulaic as well. Other games gonna have the same engine, they just polish it, add different move sets. And to me, I mean, from a business perspective, also makes sense. I don't think like a ton of new work goes into it. It's just being really good at what they do. So I mean, I imagine like the development cost isn't that high. You just got to make new assets, really, just new characters, new assets, test it. But it's a formula, right? And they have it on lock.
They probably just
they're
use the
good at
same
it.
engine, use the same engine.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because what is this? Is like the fourth or the fourth
There's Mortal Kombat 9, yeah,
MK9,
MK9
Injustice, MKX, and then Injustice 2, right?
yeah. And they did fine tune more things from the first Injustice. I'm still not super crazy about the clash system.
Which is like QTE, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like Gamble QTE, but you're better off just saving your special gauge for like meter burn. But no, it's still fun. Like, I'm having fun with it, and they're already announcing like their first round of DOC characters and everything. But looks like Spawn's going to be part of it.
Who?
Which is like
Spawn.
Oh, Spawn? What?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's gonna look really cool. I mean, I can't remember Spawn in a modern fighting game. Actually,
So
Soul
Calibur
Calibur
2.
On the Xbox.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. Soul Calibur. Yeah, that's right. Man, that's gonna look awesome.
I mean, they did a pretty good job with Jason, right? And
Oh yeah, all of
Predator,
their characters.
Yeah, Freddy was in there as well. So
One thing I really like about their DOC stuff is when they'll give certain characters a different skin, right? But they'll give them like they'll have the same move set as that character, but they'll give them like a different voice and everything too. So like for instance, the Green Lantern by default in the game is Hal Jordan, but you can get the Jon Stewart version of him, which is cool, and like completely different skin, different voice, and intros and everything.
Same moves.
Yeah, and like in Mortal Kombat X, Jax got a Carl Weathers skin.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You could relive Predator.
and it's like a lot of that attention to detail. It's like, all right, that's cool. That's
Again, I think They can do that because they have like their engine on lock, and they can spend this time with those attention to details, whether it's like the graphics, the characters, or the backgrounds or interactions, whatever.
Mhm.
Because I mean, they've been popping out like what almost every year now.
Yeah.
Oh, and just this one came out in like what 2010.
Or like I think it's every 2 years.
Probably every 2 years, yeah.
And, yeah, so we'll probably see them jump back to Mortal Kombat after this, which is not a bad thing.
Formulaic.
But it works.
Yeah, but it works. Makes money. People are buying it. People are liking it. So
So, was there any
Thanks.
like upcoming Steam games that y'all were interested in by any chance? Because it'd be cool if it was also available on Linux. But was there anything upcoming?
I got. I've just been testing out my new CPU. Just been playing like Tomb Raider, Rise of Tomb Raider. It's pretty good.
I finished the first one and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. We
We
got
gotta see
Mad
some more River
Max.
City.
Oh yeah, we could do some River City. I got the Mad Max game, which is now on Linux as well. If you want to try that out,
Oh, was it any good though?
it's pretty fun. Yeah, it's an open world game. I mean, you're into those. But yeah, I haven't really been playing too much. What about you? I mean, you just been playing Dark Souls and Commodore. You been playing anything at all?
No, I actually played retro. It's always retro games for me. Actually, before this episode, I played a Super Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition special. The bootleg
Yeah.
version where I could throw
Yeah.
fireballs in the air and do hurricanes.
We actually have a machine
Oh,
like
man.
that at one of our bars, and it's like, it's so broken. It's so
But
broken, but it's so much fun.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I mean, y'all remember that? They actually had that in the arcades. Like, I mean, it wasn't official, but I don't even know
Right.
how it got the arcades. It was. I haven't played it in so long, but then when I played it, I didn't realize it was the special championship edition and
Special
Yeah.
championship.
yeah, championship edition. I don't. It's so funny. I don't even remember who modded these. Y'all remember it all? Like, okay, so
Yeah, even to do it like way back then is, I don't know. I feel like you had to have some connect to the development team or something, because like it's not like it is today. Like now you can reverse engineer a lot of things, but back then
Yeah.
I don't know if you could. Like you needed like that source code to be able to do that.
Yep.
yeah,
A
and
little
I'm,
harder.
and I'm pretty sure that wasn't officially sanctioned by Capcom.
Yeah,
To have it. But anyway, that's what I played before this episode, and I was like, wow, this brings back a lot
Yeah.
of memories because they actually had this at arcades back when I was young, and I don't even know how it was in there. It was in an official arcade, and man, you're like throwing fireballs, sonic booms in the air, and so cheap. It was so cheap. But anyway, that's
it's kind of like everything's broken, so everything's balanced.
yeah, you're right.
Just make everyone OP. It'll balance itself out.
That's like Ragnarok Online.
Oh, I guess like the only other game I've been playing DDR. So I mean, I play that like 3-4 times a week now. So
Yeah. Well, you've been getting a lot better at it too.
yeah, getting pretty decent at it. It's
You
super
gotta
fun.
Get your skills back up. It's a DDR exercise.
You want to
Yeah,
come
no,
down?
for sure. What's that?
I'm thinking about going down to round 1 pretty soon. If you want to.
I'm gonna be down there this weekend to pick up some car parts.
Oh,
So,
are you for real?
yeah, maybe we can link up.
I was thinking this Sunday. If you got some time.
Yeah, maybe Sunday.
What's
Yeah,
round,
hit me up,
what's
dude.
round one for the? What's
It's
that?
like a Dave and Buster's. I think it's owned by the same people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So Dave and Buster's is kind of like food, it's arcade games. Like you have a card, you just walk around, and you just swipe everything.
But like this one has a crazy like
Bamani.
amount of games. Yeah, there's like an
Yeah.
entire Bamani corner. They've got Guitar Freaks. There's even a light gun rhythm game, which is really cool.
Say
So a
what?
lot
Yeah.
of Japanese arcade, because like
Wait,
arcades
light
in
gun
America-
rhythm game. Okay, I'm still trying to get that. So you still got to dance, but you're shooting.
No. So you're basically on a track, but as things come up on screen, depending on the order that you shoot them in, you can continue to follow with the rhythm and tempo of the song. Yeah, more or less. It's actually a lot of fun.
Is that the game where you have like the two guns? You could like.
Oh no, that's a different one.
Oh, that's a different one.
That one is like a third-person action arena. It's like a 2v2. And yeah, so it's cool because you have dual wielding light guns, and there are little joysticks on the back of them, so you can move around and control your character with them. And then if you just shoot regularly, you'll have one function, and then there's like a magnetic strip, and if you touch them to the sides, that'll give you your secondary function, and if you put them on top of each other, it'll give you a tertiary function as well.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I was like, all right.
I mean,
Wow.
arcades in Japan, I mean, they're still innovative and like people still go to them over there. I mean, you don't see it in the US anymore because like it's supply and demand, right? But
Yeah.
still come up with crazy stuff.
And so this is probably the closest that we have into a Japanese arcade, full on.
Yeah, might be. Yeah.
Man, that sounds cool. I wish they had that everywhere. That would sound
Yeah.
so fun. You
So I
know?
gotta move to a bigger city.
And see, these are all like full cabinet games, right?
Yeah.
Full big time. Oh man.
Oh yeah, and they even have like a bunch of they had a bunch of fighting games. They had Melty Blood in arcades.
What's that?
It's an obscure like PC fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not obscure to the fighting game crowd, but I mean for most people, like what's that?
Yeah, I've never heard.
I mean, it was at Evo.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would come down. We could play some DDR. I mean, we're gonna be there for a couple. Like, we're gonna play for at least like 3 hours.
Yeah, yeah. Just let me know about that.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm just wondering, like I've seen y'all play DDR. I've seen really good people with DDR. I'm pretty sure you could get injured.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can definitely mess up your knees if you're just playing around. Like, just the impact on it.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Repetitive jackhammering with your feet.
Yeah, I don't think it's actually that bad. I used to have some knee problems last year, but I haven't had any this year at all. And I've been playing a lot more, so it's all right. But yeah, even though there are people who really like you think we're good at it, oh my! Every time I go play, there's someone who's like
There's
2, 3,
always
4
something
times
better.
better than me. It's funny because the guy where we're going to, like the place we're going to, that's where the world champion trains and plays. So
Yeah.
it's like, she's gonna go there, just gonna be like, man, just like walk out with your head in shame. Like I'm never gonna.
Well, you can learn something from him.
Because it's like it's akin to Olympic level training. Like this guy would be Olympic level good, and you're over here, you're just like, oh, I'm not that.
So Danny Boxcutter just noted that we're at the 2-hour mark, and so
Ooh. Yeah, it's been a pretty long live episode. Thanks for you guys who commented and chatted with us. It's pretty nice to have. This is new to me, at least, so that's pretty cool. Thanks for interacting. Definitely appreciate the feedback. And
and this is our very first live episode, y'all. So we really do appreciate anybody who's watched. And a lot of our episodes it is pre-recorded, but live is a new thing now, and so we thought we'd just
We're
give it a shot.
communicating.
Yeah,
we're catching up with the times.
I know, and our brothers. I mean, if you've ever watched any of our Geek Bros Talk episode, it is live for us. We're not nothing scripted. We're just talking like we normally do here. So this just takes it to another live level, I guess. And so hopefully you see.
As you saw earlier, we had
so-
live technical difficulties.
Yeah. So this isn't like a change of our format because when we are making these episodes, it is live. There is no, I don't really edit anything. And so just in this case, it's real live. So thank you for watching.
Yep.
You did.
Thanks for sticking with us. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah. And we'll be back with some more stuff to geek out about.
Yeah, catch us next time. And
Maybe we'll be rich.
maybe
Crypto.
currency. Maybe my GPU. No, it's like maybe we'll be rich, or maybe my GPU will be broken next week. Tune in to find out.
I know.
There's only one way to find out.
Bros talk. Anyways, thanks guys. I think we're gonna call it a night for now.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm Possibilities. That's
Danny Boxcutter.
And C64.
Signing out.
Geek Outdoors. All right. Thanks for watching.
All right, signing out.
Hi guys.
Bye.